Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's John Ashworth, the Fitness Nomad, a.k.a. Johnny Renaissance. Why do they call me that? Well, expertise in a wide variety of areas. Poke around a little while on the ashflash.com and you'll find out exactly what I'm talking about. Right now, you can get my 10-minute workout series. I've got about a half a dozen 10-minute workouts to share with you. All you have to do is subscribe right here on the ashflash.com or johnashworth.com, same place. 2 domains will get you there. Great topic for tonight. This came up in conversation today with my son, Carl. He's got some irritation on his heel. A little plantar fasciitis working in there. Potentially just a little tendonitis. When you start moving again this spring, especially if you haven't been doing a lot, in his case, the final straw was a run out on the trail. Uneven terrain, great opportunity to put the body under a new stress it's not used to, new demands it's not quite ready for, and things get a little hot. And here's my recommendation to you. You know I'm old school. You remember the old formula? Rice, rest, ice. Compression, elevation. Compression, not so important in this case. Elevation, it's definitely not going to hurt. Rest and ice. And the number one miracle drug of all time with all clients, with my body in particular, ice. The magic formula. Not one client, not one friend, not one colleague who has finally taken my recommendation, sometimes after weeks or months of trying to get them to understand how powerful ice can be to helping an injury calm down, slowing down inflammation, helping refresh the body that is injured with fresh blood flow. That's what happens. It cools it down. You take the ice off, everything warms back up, there's a big flush, there's a big washing out, blood, nutrients, oxygen, all kinds of great things happen when you ice. Not one client, not one person at any time when they finally did it, didn't come back to me and say, John, it didn't work. It didn't do anything. It's always the exact opposite. It's, oh my God, I can't believe it. Why did I wait so long? Why didn't I listen to you? Why didn't I do it before? Now remember, this does not substitute for professional medical advice from your doctor. But as you get started with your fitness program this spring, keep this concept in mind. Rest, ice, compression, elevation. These are simple things that you can do when you notice something getting hot, whether it's a knee or an elbow or a hip or your low back or whatever the case might be. You can often calm it right down with a little ice and a little rest and a little gentle stretching. And when you need some help with that, get with a great physical therapist or athletic trainer or your friendly local neighborhood personal trainer and virtual fitness coach. Thanks for watching. John Ashworth, the Fitness Nomad, signing off for now. Remember, do not forget to subscribe right here on the ashflash.com and get my latest round of 10-minute workouts immediately. You can get started. See you soon.